Hi, everyone. Have you ever stopped to consider that you are essentially a walking, talking drop of the ocean? Science tells us that our bodies are composed of approximately 70% water. But in our daily hustle, we treat this water as if it's just a passive fluid, a plumbing system to keep us hydrated. What if I told you that this water is actually the most sophisticated quantum antenna in existence? What if the water inside your cells is literally listening to every thought you think and every word you speak, rearranging its very molecular structure to match your internal state? This isn't science fiction, it is the groundbreaking legacy of Dr. Masaru Emoto, and it changes everything we know about manifestation. When I was going through my own journey of transition, I used to be very vibrationally sloppy with my language. I would complain about the lead in my life, using harsh words like struggle, lack, and impossible. I thought they were just words, but then I discovered the work of Dr. Emoto. He showed us that when water is exposed to words of love and gratitude, it forms breathtaking, symmetrical crystals. When exposed to hate or chaos, it becomes distorted and gray. It hit me like a lightning bolt. If my body is 70% water, what kind of crystals am I creating inside my blood every time I criticize myself or fear the future? Am I baptizing my biology in gold or in lead? In this laboratory today, we are going to dive into the science of water memory and the teachings of Gregg Braden to understand how our feelings act as the broadcast that our liquid bodies receive. We are going to move from being victims of our environment to becoming the sovereign architects of our own biological structure. I'm Caroline, and I'm here to show you how to purify your internal ocean. If you're ready to stop poisoning your own antenna and start broadcasting success, leave a comment below with the word crystal. Make sure to subscribe to join our circle of sovereign initiates. And remember, all the links to the books and free materials are waiting for you in the description. Are you ready to see what you're made of? Let's look into the mirror of the water. The liquid mirror, Dr. Masaru Emoto's discovery. To master the law of attraction, you must first understand that you are not communicating with a distant universe. You are communicating through a liquid medium that lives inside your very cells. The work of Dr. Masaru Emoto serves as the ultimate visual proof of this dialogue. Emoto's experiments were deceptively simple, but profoundly revolutionary. He exposed water to different human intentions, words, thoughts, and music, and then flash-frozen the water to examine the resulting crystals under a microscope. The results were a checkmate to the materialistic view of reality. Water exposed to high-frequency intentions like love and gratitude formed exquisite, symmetrical, hexagonal jewels of geometry. Water exposed to low-frequency intentions like I hate you or you make me sick resulted in fractured, chaotic, and muddy shapes. What Emoto discovered was the physics of intent. He proved that water is a liquid mirror, reflecting the vibrational quality of the consciousness around it. But for the sovereign alchemist, the realization goes much deeper. If a glass of water can be reshaped by a single word, what is happening to the 70% of water inside your body every time you think a thought? During my transition, I realized that my body was a liquid record of my past traumas and my current fears. I was trying to manifest gold while my internal water was structured in lead. I was literally poisoning my own biological antenna. This is where the bridge to the law of attraction becomes undeniable. Most people think manifestation is about getting things from the outside. But as Gregg Braden teaches, the universe, or the divine matrix, only responds to the language of feeling. And since your feelings are translated through your nervous system and into your blood and cellular fluid, your water is the primary carrier of your manifestation signal. When you hold a state of Assup, already done, you are not just thinking a thought. You are literally restructuring the water in your body into a geometric match for that reality. You are creating a laminar flow of intention that allows the law of attraction to work with zero resistance. Gregg Braden's research into the Isaiah effect and the language of the heart perfectly complements Emoto's crystals. Braden explains that our emotions create an electromagnetic field that can be measured up to several feet away from the body. But that field doesn't just travel through the air, it travels through the liquid crystal of our cells first. Water is a highly conductive medium. It stores information. It has memory. This means that your body is currently storing the vibration of your most frequent thoughts. If you have been living in a state of lack for 10 years, the water in your cells has been frozen into a geometry of scarcity. To change your life, you have to melt that old information and imprint a new golden structure. I remember the moment I started treating my hydration as a sacred protocol. I realized that if I could bless the water I was drinking with the frequency of my future self, I was literally drinking my own manifestation. I was taking the Assup state and making it biological. I stopped seeing water as a commodity and started seeing it as programmable hardware. This is the secret of the holy water used in ancient traditions. It wasn't about the water itself, but about the vibrational imprint it carried. When you understand that your thoughts are writing code into your biological water, you become incredibly disciplined with your focus. You stop letting leaden thoughts enter your mind because you know they will immediately start distorting your internal crystals. The law of attraction is often called the law of resonance. Resonance requires a medium. In a piano, the medium is the air and the strings. In a human being, the medium is the water. If the water in your cells is structured in a chaotic, noisy way due to stress and self-criticism, you cannot resonate with the harmonics of wealth or the frequency of peace. You are like a radio with a wet, damaged circuit board. You might be tuned to the right station, but all you hear is static. By practicing the Emoto method, by intentionally blessing your internal and external water with high vibration words, you are cleaning the circuitry. You are making yourself a high conductivity antenna for the quantum field. Gregg Braden often talks about the experiment where human DNA was placed in a vacuum with photons. The DNA actually forced the light particles to follow its geometry. This proves that our DNA is the primary architect of reality. But what surrounds the DNA? Water. The DNA is literally bathed in a liquid environment. If that liquid environment is chaotic, as Emoto showed with negative words, the DNA cannot signal properly. You are effectively muffling your own genetic power. But when you structure your internal water through heart coherence and loving intent, you create a pristine environment where your DNA can broadcast its highest potential. You move from a state of genetic survival to a state of quantum sovereignty. During my journey, I had to stop being a passive receiver of my emotions. I became an active transmutationist. I started using the word as a surgical tool. Every morning, I would speak my future reality into my glass of water. I would say, I am sovereign, I am abundant, I am whole. I knew through the science of Emoto that the water was taking a snapshot of those frequencies, and as I drank it, I was delivering those golden crystals directly to my cells. This is how you wash the lead out of your system. This is how you turn the law of attraction from a maybe into a physical certainty. I want you to realize that you are never truly empty. You are always full of information. The water in your body is a database of your beliefs. If you don't like what you are manifesting in the 3D world, you need to clear the database. You need to look into the liquid mirror and decide what you want to see reflected back. Do you want to see the fractured gray patterns of a victim, or do you want to see the radiant hexagonal majesty of a master? The choice is made every time you open your mouth to speak and every time you close your eyes to think. As we move into the next block, we are going to look at the 70% rule, how to leverage your massive water content to act as a permanent manifestation beacon. We will dive deeper into how your blood acts as a flowing crystal that carries the law of attraction to every organ in your body. But for now, sit with the power of this discovery. You are a liquid alchemist. Your thoughts are the ink, and your water is the paper. What are you writing today?
The 70% rule. You are a walking crystal. To master your reality, you must embrace a radical biological truth. You are not a solid object. You are a liquid crystal antenna. When we look at ourselves in the mirror, we see solid skin and bone, but that is the ultimate 3D illusion. Scientists now recognize that the water within the human body exists in a state that is neither purely liquid nor purely solid. It is a fourth phase of water, often called structured water or liquid crystalline water. This means that 70% of your being is a highly organized, highly conductive medium designed specifically to store and transmit information. When Gregg Braden speaks about the divine matrix, he is talking about the field outside of us, but the 70% rule explains how we interface with that field. We are not just in the matrix, we are the liquid interface of the matrix. During my transition from the corporate grind to a life of sovereignty, I had to stop viewing my body as a machine and start viewing it as a vibrational conductor. If 70% of me is water, then 70% of my manifestation power lies in the quality of that water. Think about the conductivity of a crystal. Crystals are used in watches, radios, and computers because they can hold a steady frequency and transfer energy without loss. Because your blood and cellular fluids are liquid crystals, they are doing the exact same thing. Every time you hold a feeling of lack or fear, you are programming your 70% to vibrate at a low, discordant frequency. You are essentially turning your internal crystal into lead. This is why the law of attraction often feels slow for most people. They are trying to think wealthy thoughts with their 5% conscious mind, while their 70% liquid body is still vibrating with the memory of poverty and stress. There is a massive vibrational mismatch. The water in your cells is still holding the fractured geometry that Dr. Masaru Emoto documented in his negative experiments. To create a quantum leap, you have to flush the system. You have to use the 70% rule to your advantage. You have to realize that you have a massive majority vote inside your own body. If you can restructure the water in your blood through heart-centered emotion, you are literally outvoting your old habits by a ratio of 70 to 30. Let's look at the conductivity of blood. Your blood visits every single cell in your body in a continuous loop. It carries nutrients, yes, but it also carries information. Gregg Braden points out that our emotions change the shape of our DNA, but he also emphasizes that the medium through which this signal travels is the water surrounding the DNA. If your blood is carrying the crystal of gratitude, it is delivering a command of abundance to every gene in your body, every second of every day. This is the biological engine of the law of attraction. You are not sending a wish to the stars, you are broadcasting a command through your own liquid circulatory system. In my practice, I began to see my emotions as chemical baths for my internal water. I realized that stress was a cloudy, chaotic frequency that made my antenna noisy and ineffective. But joy and Assup, the state of already done, were like a clarifying agent. They turned my internal water into a pristine, high-definition transmitter. I started to treat my body like a sacred laboratory. I wouldn't allow a negative conversation or a leaden news report to enter my field because I knew it would pollute my 70%. I understood that once the water in my body was informed by a frequency, it would keep echoing that frequency until I consciously changed it.
This is the secret behind why visualizing in the shower or near water is so powerful. You are surrounding your internal 70% with external 100%. You are in a high conductivity environment where the vibrational transfer happens almost instantaneously. But you don't need a shower to do this. You just need to realize that you are the water. You are the liquid mirror that Emoto described. If you want to see gold in your bank account, you must first seed the gold into the water of your blood. You must feel the texture of success until your internal crystals reflect that hexagonal majesty. Mastering your internal ocean is the fastest way to manifest a golden life. This is the level of practical alchemy we explore here every day. We move beyond the surface and dive into the biological mechanics of creation. If you are ready to stop being a vibrational victim and start being a liquid master, you belong in this community. Subscribe to the channel and help us reach more people who are ready to cleanse their antenna. Your subscription helps this laboratory grow and keeps this high-level frequency flowing to the world. When you align your 70% with your 5%, your intent, you reach a state of vibrational coherence. This is the sweet spot of the law of attraction. This is when the coincidences start happening so fast they feel like miracles. It's not a miracle, it's just high conductivity. You have removed the resistance from your internal water. You have turned your Leaden Chaos into golden geometry. And because the divine matrix is always looking for a match, it finds that golden signal in your blood and begins to mirror it in your physical reality. I want you to start thinking of your body as a continuous broadcast. You are never off. Your water is always recording. Your antenna is always transmitting. The 70% rule means that you have a massive biological advantage, but only if you use it consciously. Stop trying to attract and start being the frequency. Let the water in your cells do the heavy lifting. Let your blood carry the code of success to your DNA. When you do this, you aren't just practicing a technique, you are becoming the law. In the next block, we are going to dive deeper into Gregg Braden's work on the divine matrix and how the language of feeling interacts with the memory of water. We will look at how your internal liquid crystal actually bends the light of the field to create the physical objects you desire. But first, remember, you are 70% water. You are a masterpiece of fluid geometry. Act like it.
Gregg Braden and the language of feeling. To truly understand why your internal ocean is the key to the law of attraction, we must look at the bridge built by Gregg Braden. Braden often speaks about the divine matrix, a field of energy that connects everything in the universe. But the most vital part of his teaching for the alchemist is how we speak to this matrix. He clarifies that the universe does not respond to our words or even our mental thoughts alone. It responds to the language of feeling. And here is the master stroke that connects back to Dr. Emoto. Feeling is a vibrational frequency that travels through the medium of your body's water. In physics, water is known as a transducer. It can take one form of energy and convert it into another. When you have a feeling in your heart, you are creating a wave of pressure and an electromagnetic pulse. Because you are 70% water, this pulse isn't just a ghostly thought. It becomes a literal, physical ripple moving through the liquid crystal of your cells. During my journey of transition, I realized that my feelings were the ink I was using to write into the matrix. If I felt anxiety, I was sending a jagged, chaotic ripple through my 70%. If I felt Assup, the certainty of success, I was sending a harmonious, geometric ripple. The divine matrix simply mirrors back whatever geometry is most consistent in your internal water. Gregg Braden often references an experiment involving human DNA and the power of emotion. In this study, researchers found that when individuals felt gratitude and love, the strands of their DNA relaxed and lengthened. When they felt frustration or hate, the DNA tightened and actually shut down many of its coding sequences. Now remember the Emoto connection. Your DNA is perpetually bathed in water. This means that your feelings are programming the water, and the water is instructionalizing the DNA. You are not a victim of your biology. You are the director of the liquid cinema happening inside your veins. The law of attraction is often misunderstood as wishing for something to happen, but as Braden explains, you must feel the feeling as if the prayer is already answered. This is the definition of vibrational resonance. If you want to manifest wealth, you cannot want it, because wanting sends a ripple of lack through your internal water.
Instead, you must generate the feeling of abundance until the 70% of you that is liquid becomes a symmetrical crystal of that wealth. At that point, the divine matrix has no choice but to match your internal state with external reality. The water in your body acts as the tuning fork for the entire universe. I remember a time when I was struggling to see results in my career shift. I was doing my affirmations, but I was doing them from a place of head knowledge, not heart feeling. My internal ocean was still turbulent with the fear of failure. I had to stop and realize that the matrix wasn't hearing my affirmations, it was hearing my turbulence. I had to use the Emoto method on myself. I started to sit in silence and breathe the feeling of sovereign peace into my heart center, imagining that peace as a golden light structuring the water in my blood. I realized that my feeling was the command, and my water was the messenger. This is the power of the 70% majority. When you align your heart's feeling with your liquid biology, you create a coherent wave. This wave is so powerful that it bends the light of the quantum field. Gregg Braden points out that we are participatory creators. We are not just watching the world, we are informing the world through our internal state. If your liquid antenna is broadcasting the frequency of gold, you will start to see the lead in your environment dissolve. It's not magic, it's fluid dynamics meeting quantum mechanics.
This is the deep work of the sovereign initiate. We don't play on the surface. We go into the living water of our own existence. If you are ready to master the language of feeling and turn your body into a golden broadcast, you need to be part of this community. Subscribe to the channel now and help us amplify this frequency. Every subscriber adds to the coherence of this laboratory, and together we are learning to rewrite the script of our lives from the inside out. Hit the button and let's keep the water clear. I want you to understand that your feelings are the most valuable currency you have. They are the programming language for the divine matrix, and your water is the hard drive that stores the code. If you spend your day feeling unworthy, you are literally freezing that unworthiness into your cellular structure. You are creating a liquid prison for yourself. But the moment you shift into the state of Assup, you are melting that prison and creating a flow of abundance. You are the alchemist of the internal sea. Gregg Braden's work tells us that the field is always listening. It doesn't take breaks. It is responding to your vibration 24/7. This means that your liquid antenna is always on. To be a sovereign creator, you must become the guard of your own vibration. You must refuse to let discordant feelings pollute your internal crystals. You must treat your 70% with the same reverence that Dr. Emoto treated his water samples, because you are not just watching this video. You are currently structuring your life through the way you feel about it. As we move into the final block, we will explore the Purification Protocol. I will show you how to practically bless your reality and use the memory of water to lock in your new timeline. We will consolidate everything we've learned from Emoto and Braden into a master stroke for your daily life. But first, take a moment to feel the ocean inside you. It is waiting for your next command. What feeling will you give it? The Purification Protocol, blessing your reality. Now we come to the practical checkmate of this laboratory, the Purification Protocol. We've established that you are a liquid crystal antenna, and we have seen through Dr. Masaru Emoto and Gregg Braden that your feelings are the command code for the 70% of your being that is water. But how do you maintain this golden geometry when the 3D world is throwing lead at you every day? How do you ensure your antenna stays tuned to the frequency of Assup? To lock in your new timeline, you must stop being a passive victim of your environment and start being an active purifier of your internal ocean. During my own journey of transition, I had to create a sacred buffer between the world's chaos and my internal water. I realized that every piece of news, every stressful conversation, and even the music I listened to was informing my cells. I developed a daily practice I call liquid programming.
It's a simple but powerful example you can start today. Before you drink any liquid, water, tea, or coffee, hold the glass in both hands. Close your eyes and feel the heart-brain coherence we discussed. Project the feeling fact of your desire into the water. If you want sovereignty, feel the weightless freedom in your chest and see it radiating into the glass. By the time you drink it, you're not just hydrating your body, you are installing the frequency directly into your bloodstream. You are giving your 70% a physical blueprint of the gold you wish to manifest. But the protocol goes deeper than just the water you drink. You must also bless the water that flows out of you, your words and your actions. In the law of attraction, there is no such thing as an idle word. Every word you speak is a vibrational drop in your internal bucket. If you spend your afternoon complaining about the leaden economy or your leaden relationships, you are effectively acidifying your internal ocean. You are creating a hazy geometry that makes it impossible for the divine matrix to find a clear signal. The sovereign alchemist practices vibrational hygiene. They speak only of the result. They use their voice as a structuring tool to keep their internal crystals symmetrical and radiant. Think about the quantum Zeno effect we mentioned in the previous protocol. The more consistently you observe your internal geometry as successful, the more the universe freezes that success into your physical reality. I used to practice this while washing my hands or taking a shower. Instead of thinking about my to-do list, I would imagine the water touching my skin as a liquid reset. I would visualize the old, chaotic patterns of stress being washed away and replaced by the golden hexagons of my future self. I made the cleaning of my body a cleaning of my timeline. This is how you turn a mundane habit into a master stroke of manifestation. You must also learn to shield your antenna from the lead of others. Most people are walking around with highly distorted internal water, and they are broadcasting that chaos constantly. When you enter a leaden environment, you must consciously lock your frequency. You do this by returning to the 70% rule. Remind yourself, I am the majority here. My 70% is structured in gold. I do not accept the distorted geometry of this room. By holding your coherence, you actually become a vibrational stabilizer for the people around you. You don't just protect your antenna, you broadcast a higher reality that can help others restructure their own internal oceans.
Remember, the divine matrix is always looking for the purity of the signal. It doesn't care how hard you work, it cares about how clearly you resonate. By using the Emoto method and Gregg Braden's language of feeling, you are removing the static from your life. You are becoming a superconductor for your desires. When your internal water is clear, the path between your thought and its physical manifestation becomes a straight line. The weight disappears because the vibrational gap has been closed. You are living as the result, and the result has no choice but to show up. I want you to leave this laboratory today with a new sense of liquid sovereignty. You are not a victim of your past. You are the programmer of your present. Treat your body with the reverence it deserves as a quantum temple. Keep your ocean clean, keep your antenna sharp, and watch as the law of attraction turns your every crystal of intent into a diamond of reality. You have the science, you have the proof, and you have the power. Now, go out and structure your world in gold. I want to thank you for staying with us until the very end. It is truly inspiring to see so many of you taking these high-level tools and applying them to your lives. I am deeply grateful for your presence, your focus, and for the energy you bring to this community. Being on this journey of sovereign evolution with you is a privilege I don't take lightly. Thank you for watching and for being part of this shift. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Your support is what allows us to keep digging deeper into these alchemical protocols and bringing them to the world. By subscribing, you are anchoring yourself in this frequency of expansion. Also, for those ready to explore the deeper mechanics of the liquid mirror, I've put the links to the books by Dr. Masaru Emoto and Gregg Braden along with free materials in the video description.
Make sure to check them out to further master your internal antenna. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, keep your water pure and your heart coherent.